has joined the meeting.
Mr. Hoover, congratulations on your anniversary.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Terry's condolences.
No, Terry's a saint, and yeah.
Deep sympathy to Terry.
Yeah.
Like me, he married way up.
Yeah, I know. I'm reminded that very frequently.
I saw where you had a drive-by birthday party for your
We
mother-in-law.
did. For my mother-in-law, it was just tremendous. We had like 30 cars, a fire truck,
That's great.
and the fire department was kind enough to put a fire truck in front, and then they put an ambulance second. And I know that's probably protocol, but I said something to Jim Records, and he said, "Well, at least there wasn't an ambulance at the end of it."
I hate to tell you,
Hearse.
my mother-in-law lived to be 102.
That's awesome.
Sorry to tell you that.
Well, that's
I'm
okay with
kidding.
me.
I'm kidding.
Chrissy, you ready?
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay, and Amanda, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Well, we'll call the August 17, 2020 meeting of the Greenwood Board of Public Works and Safety to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please, Amanda.
Mr. Hoover,
Here?
Mr. Colvin,
Here.
Mr. Rutherford.
Here.
Thank you.
The minutes of the regular session of August 3, our last meeting, have been distributed to members of the board. Any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Colvin, seconded by Mr. Rutherford. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. First on our agenda is Ms. Madeline Smith, 1222 Cloverdale. She's got an encroachment request. Ms. Smith, are you with us? I'm not sure I see her on there. There's some unknown call-in users. Ms. Smith, can you hear me? I tell you what, we'll put this on hold for just a minute. Maybe she'll join us in a minute, and we'll come back to that then. I saw Chief Hoggett on there. Chief.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today I come before you for the annual Public Safety Medical Agreement, which is our annual physicals for the fire department members. It's a little bit different this year, as you can probably well imagine. We have had to alter some of our tests and forego some of them until after the COVID pandemic passes. But we still have a very good set of tests and physicals for the firefighters. And I would like to get your approval and allow for you to allow me to sign the agreement.
Any questions for Darren?
I would move for approval.
Second.
Second by Mr. Colvin. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Thanks,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Next, we'll go on to currently Deputy Chief James Eisen. Jim, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
The first thing on the agenda is a ratification of the LexisNexis MOU that was approved on May the 6th. I believe when you approved it, you approved Chief Lout to sign it. He asked me to sign that document, so we just need that approved.
So you're just asking for the ratification of your signature on it instead of John's?
Correct, yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Colvin. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay.
Okay, number 2 is a revision of our general order on uniforms and appearance, 87G46. We're wanting to make 3 modifications to this policy. The first is just adding into the authorized uniform for administration and investigations the option of wearing a collared polo with, it would be something similar to the city of Greenwood or the Greenwood Police Department with our badge and shoulder patches affixed to it. The second modification would be repealing the no tattoo, visible tattoo policy. Many departments are doing this right now, Beech Grove, Plainfield, Fishers. What we're finding is we're missing out on some very qualified, usually prior military personnel because they don't want to be forced to wear long sleeves year round. The policy would be amended to allow visible tattoos that would be subject to approval by the chief of police to make sure there's no obscene messages or writing or photos, pictures on the arms, hands and feet, or sorry, arms, hands and legs, and not visible on the neck or face.
That was
And
my
then
next question.
Yeah, so none visible on the neck or face. We'll nix those in the hiring process. But the tattoos that are visible on the arms, we don't even wear shorts unless they're on the bicycle patrol. So legs shouldn't be much of an issue. It'd just be the hands and arms. And the third policy change, the addition of a load-bearing outer vest. So their bulletproof vest would go in an outer carrier that would have pouches affixed to it that would take some of the weight off of their hips. A lot of law enforcement officers have bad backs from wearing that 25-pound gun belt for 30 years. Once again, a lot of agencies are going that route because they're finding it beneficial and more comfortable and adds to the health of the officer.
Sounds good to me.
Were those it, James?
Yes.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Did you have a question for me?
no, I'm good. Anybody have a question for Deputy Chief?
I would move that we approve Resolution 20-07.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Colvin, seconded by Mr. Rutherford. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. And the last item on the agenda is I would like to issue Chief Lout his service weapon upon his retirement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rutherford, seconded by Mr. Colvin. I think that's going to be by consensus, yes, right, gentlemen?
Yes.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Thank you, James.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Can we go back and
Jim
see?
Eisen.
has left the meeting.
Can we go back and see if Madeline Smith has joined the meeting? Ms. Smith? Okay, well, we'll still keep trying that. Next will be Christopher Horsley for the Hookinson Companies, St. Vincent's Medical Group.
So Chris is not with us this evening. This is Boyd Zakola with Hookinson Companies, and here for the acceptance of the maintenance guarantee and release of the performance guarantee at 1300 Innovation Park.
Daniel, are you with us? We have the memo from Paul Pioni in front of us. Looks like a fairly standard with just that we need revised maintenance guarantees and the Mylar and digital as-built. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Any questions for either Daniel or Boyd?
Looked like there were two conditions. Have either one of those been satisfied yet?
I have what was on the agenda. I'm not aware of any conditions, but if you could share with me what those were.
Yeah, the first one was receipt of revised maintenance guarantees. And then the second one was receipt of Mylar and digital as-built.
So my understanding was before we could be placed on the agenda, we had to satisfy all those with Paul.
Correct. This is Daniel Johnston, city engineer. Paul reached out to Mr. Horsley earlier today, but didn't get a response. But those were some of the items open to get. So.
Are you okay with those two conditions? Then you'll take care of that.
Yes. Yes, sir.
If so, then I would make a motion that we approve this subject to those two conditions.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Colvin, seconded by Mr. Rutherford. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zakola.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you. Boyd
Next one.
Zakola.
Has left the meeting.
Next, we'll move on to American Structure Point or Austin Nixon for South Point Business Park. Mr. Nixon, are you with us? Or anybody from American Structure Point?
This is Fred Lineberger. I'm with Peterson. South Point Building 3, we're the general contractor for the project. If Roth or somebody from Structure Point is not, I can do this.
Okay, thanks, Fred. Again, we have a memo from Paul Pioni. I'm wondering if you've got that in front of you, Fred. Daniel,
I do not.
Daniel, why don't you explain what we're doing here?
Right, so basically, this one is just for tonight. The recommended motion is to accept the performance guarantees for dirt work, storm sewer, erosion control, sanitary sewer, streets, sidewalks, signs, and monuments. And those are all performance levels of credit. And to also accept and execute the general and sanitary sewer inspection and testing agreements, and to ratify the acceptance of 50% upfront fee, and also to accept and execute the final plat, all for South Point Business Park Building C.
Sounds like that would, the recommended motion is an unconditional approval. Is that correct, Daniel?
Yes, that is correct. No conditions.
I'll move that we approve.
Mr. Rutherford moves, second by Mr. Colvin. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Fred, you did a good job.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go back and try to pick up Madeline Smith one more time. I've heard some people coming into the call. Ms. Smith, are you there? Daniel, are you conversant enough to be able to walk us through this?
On the encroachment request?
Yes.
Yes, this one's actually pretty straightforward. There are no drainage structures in or around. So the memo that you have before you, and also the memo was emailed to Ms. Smith. Some of our standard conditions. Condition number 3 is a little bit unique, just because this is a corner lot. So the maximum height of a fence on the roadside yard may only be 48 inches tall. It doesn't happen too often in terms of these encroachment requests, but occasionally one does come through that shares the frontage on the side. So that's the only unique aspect of this request. The other 3 conditions are really our standard conditions.
Is there anybody on on the call that would wish to address this matter for 1272 Cloverdale Trace? If not, what would be the pleasure of the board?
Well, I would move that we approve it subject to those conditions.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Colvin, seconded by Mr. Rutherford, under discussion. Daniel, how is this procedurally communicated back to the property owner?
Yeah, what we can do is we'll just reach out to her and let her know the decision of the board, and if she's got any questions.
Okay. And I suppose if she does have some issues with it, she could maybe reappear at our next meeting if she so desired.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you. Is there anyone from the audience that wishes to address us this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to the IDAM compliance plan status update. I understand Mr. Hodson's not with us, but Sergey may be here. Is that correct? Sergey, are you with us?
Sorry, that is correct. I was just looking for an unmute button. I believe you received an IDAM compliance plan status in your packets, and we're just looking for your approval on that.
Looks like things are in order, so I'll move for approval of that.
Second.
Is that Mr. Rutherford?
No,
No.
you had a 50-50 chance.
Jeff.
You guys, we've been together so long, you're starting to sound like each other.
And I think we do that on purpose just to confuse Amanda.
Just mess me up. Okay. That was Mr. Colvin seconded then. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
My Oklahoma draw has failed me.
Sergey, we'll go up with your status of task.
All right, the first item is consideration of community development block grant with CDBG. These are final agreements with First Harvest Food Pantry, and the second is United Way of Johnson County. You did award letters on July 6th meeting, so this one is a final agreement of the grant. It's related to CARES Act grant.
And so both of these, Sergey, are just formal documentation of what the letter that we've already issued. Is that correct?
That's correct. The first one, Harvest Food Pantry, is up to $10,000, and the United Way of Johnson County is a much bigger organization, is up to $100,000.
Any further questions for Sergey?
I would move for approval
Of both of these, Jeff?
on both of them and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Q, second item is request for ratification of Mayor Myers submitting request to state revolving fund loan program to merge Western Regional Interceptor loans. There were 2 loans issued for each of phases, phase 1 and phase 2, and at this point we're just trying to merge those loans and for mayor to sign.
I'll move that we ratify the issuance of that letter.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item is for,
Wait. That was
Okay.
Mr. Rutherford, right?
No,
No.
I see you are confusing me. All right.
sorry.
Go on, Sergey.
the next item has to do with the new BBW building. It's a consideration of bill of materials and addendum with McAllister Power Systems for fuel farm project.
I'm seeing this right. This is for a new generator set at cost
It
of
is. It is for the Perkins diesel generator set, and which is powered with standby power, has a 0.8 power factor, 120 to 240 volts, single phase, etc., etc. So this one is for. Yeah, let me make sure that this is the only thing. Yep, that's so this is a 16 kilowatts diesel generator set for $19,960.00 for the fuel farm.
This is also for the mayor's signature.
This is also for the mayor's signatures.
I'd move for approval.
That was Mr. Rutherford. Thank you. Is there a second? Mr.
I'll
Cobb seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Thank you. And finally, consideration of contract for installation with a Sexton Mechanical. It's a PNC Bank HVAC system. It's basically a landlord-tenant issue. We're installing a 5-ton condensing unit, small AHU coil, and heating loop flow control valve. Please don't ask me what they mean, but it's basically an HVAC system that will go to the PNC Bank here at Fairmont Chapman.
I would approve, make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign those documents.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Colvin, seconded by Mr. Rutherford. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That is all I have.
Thank you, Sergey. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Daniel, we'll move back to you.
All right, so the first one I have is Brighton Estates, section 4A. This is pretty straightforward, simply to accept the performance guarantee for erosion control, accept and execute general and sanitary sewer inspection and testing agreements, and to ratify the acceptance of 50% upfront fees for this project.
It's section. That was Mr. Rutherford. Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Colvin, second. Daniel, is section 4A, am I reading that right? Is that
has left the
closest to
meeting.
Freedom Springs?
Yes, kind of the southeast quadrant there, the gray shaded area.
Okay. So that would go, just to the east of that is the trail and then the park.
Yes.
Okay. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next item is with Fieldstone, and actually the next three items are all authorizing the mayor or deputy mayor to sign on the board's behalf the stormwater operations and maintenance manual. So the first one is for the Fieldstone subdivision, and so that's the request. Authorize the mayor or deputy to sign on the board's behalf so that it can be recorded at the Johnson County, excuse me, recorder's office.
Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr.
Dealer's
Colvin?
choice. Dealer's choice on that one.
Okay. We'll give it to Mr. Colvin. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Next is related to Project Boilermaker. There you can see it on screen. Similar, we authorize the mayor or deputy mayor to sign on the board's behalf so they can be recorded.
Such a motion?
Go ahead, Dan.
What'd you say?
I'll move for approval. If nobody else has. Getting a lot of noise.
Mr. Rutherford moved, second by Mr. Colvin. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
The third is for the Hickinson State Road 135 medical building. This is in Olive Branch Park. Same thing, to authorize the motion, recommend a motion to authorize the mayor, deputy mayor, or deputy mayor to sign on the board's behalf the O&M manual so that it can be recorded at the county recorder's office.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Colvin seconded. Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right.
Motion passes.
My next item is our 2019 Community Crossings Matching Grant Fund project. This was our mill and overlay project. The project has been completed, and so this change order here, change order number 1 is actually just the final closeout. In the memo, you'll see that the final contract amount is there, $519,138.44, which is actually $22,897.96 below the original contract amount. So that's roughly 4.22% below the original contract amount, which is good news. And since this is a community crossings project, it is 50% funded by NDOT. So we'll actually split those savings with NDOT. So the city will see a little over $11,000 in savings on this project. And so the recommended motion would be to approve this change order number 1.
And for the mayor to sign?
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
Jeff Colvin moved. I'll second that. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Motion passes.
And then my last item, this is for the Carefree North Sewer Rehabilitation Project. This also is a accept and approval of change order number 1 as the final. This project, the final amount was $1,186,133.95, which was $736.05, or approximately 0.06% below the original contract amount. So this request, the recommended motion would be to approve change order number 1 for this project and to authorize the mayor to sign on the board's behalf.
It's amazing that big of a project, you cut it that close. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a motion? Who wants it?
I'll move.
Mr. Colvin moved.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rutherford. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right.
Motion passes.
And that's all I have.
Daniel, while I got you on there, and since we're moving at a pretty good clip, I had a question. You know, we talked about the work to be done down on State Road 135, and I just noticed driving through there and all the inlet stuff, there are like little grass mats over the grates. I'd never seen
Yeah,
that.
I
What is
noticed
that?
those today.
Sure, that is just some very low-level erosion control attempts. Once they begin milling up the existing asphalt surface layer, it's just to capture any debris that might happen to go into those structures, just to try to protect the downstream water quality.
How long will they be there? Was it permanent?
Those will be certainly there during construction, and they should get removed when they are completed.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad to hear. That's what I told my wife. It was something to do with that. So now, you know how lawyers make things up as they go. So
Good.
too far off. Okay.
Hey, Daniel, I've got a question. I'm sure you've received a phone call by now from Shiloh Run about the cell tower that went in there.
Sure. Yes. We had a number of discussions about that tower last week. If you've got specific questions, I'd be happy to talk with you offline unless you wanted to discuss them here.
No, I think offline will be fine, and just give me a status update on that. That would be good.
Okay.
I don't know if any other board members have received links about that or not.
I have not.
I have not.
If that's all for Daniel, we'll move on to Greg. You've got your headset on. Is that a good sign or a bad sign for us, Greg?
I don't have anything, so I think it's a good sign.
Good sign. Okay, thank you. Shannon, it looks like
I would move for approval of the claims as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Well, we'll stand adjourned then at 5:58 p.m. Thank you all.
Good job, Kevin.
Thank you. And Amanda,